Welcome to this live session. Today we will go over the power times for the week, as we have been doing, and then we'll be taking some questions. So welcome to everyone who is currently joining. I always reference my trusty AstroVed calendar, which, by the way, they will be free and they are coming up soon, I believe, so you can look at power times and all these good dates on your calendar. So let's jump right in. So today is the 24th of October and we came off of the full moon. So last week was like this supercharged moving into the full moon week. And now that the full moon is past, we move into what's called the waning phase of the moon, which means we're just losing what looks like in the sky light, and energetically it's moving from more of the outward materially abundant kind of outward energy of the full moon to more of a quietness of the new moon, which will be in a few days or 10 days or so. And how that interacts with our brain is that the moon is associated with the mind. And so when the full moon happens, we may find ourselves being more active, more actively manifesting. And then when the new moon approaches, we may be more quiet, more inward. So in the waning phase of the moon, we might find ourselves moving a little more inward for the 15 days of this phase, this cycle. It's also a really good time to let things go, to release, because now we're going from full to empty. In a symbolic sense, okay? So good time to kind of maybe clean out and release and let go. So that is our moon phase that we are dealing with. And then today is the fifth moon, actually tonight in the US, so more so Monday, would be the fifth moon. And the fifth moon is associated with Devas and Devis, which literally means shiny beings. So gods, goddesses, divine beings. So it's a special day to tap into spiritual energy for the fifth moon. I'm not going to go through all the different power times because we really just focus in on the Shreem Brzee power times. And so for the rest of the week, we're pretty quiet in terms of Shreem Brzee energy times until we get to next Sunday, so a week from today. Now we're in the 11th moon. The 11th moon is the time for Vishnu. It's time for prosperity. It's time for creating Vishnu allows us to maintain, to sustain our life. And what do we need for that? We need happiness and material comforts and prosperity in a variety of ways, good relationships, all those things Vishnu can bless us with. So that is next week on the 31st. So it's a pretty quiet week in terms of power times this week, but always you have Fridays. Fridays are great for the goddess, great for Shreem Brzee. And then if you're kind of next level looking at power times, you can go to Venus horas or hours throughout the day. How do you do that? You get yourself the AstroVed Assistant app or the AstroVed Hora Watch app. And download that and look at where the horas are, H-O-R-A. And every day there's going to be different horas or hours, time periods that are associated with different planets. Since Shreem Brzee is associated with the planet Venus, we want to look for Venus horas or Venus hours, Venus time blocks. And that means that on that particular day, that Shreem Brzee energy is more potent during that Venus hora or Venus hour. And that's when you can do your Shreem Brzee mantras or just simply recognizing, talking to her, being with her, or if you have a hydration, like if you have a statue or a yantra, you can do a little hydration, even just a quick one with water over it. That's one of the things Dr. Pillai taught during the Navaratri program for Laksmi is to hydrate. Hydrate the ritual, hydrate the statue, hydrate the yantra. If you don't have one, don't worry, we're making those available very soon in a much easier way. So we'll let you know. And if you do have one, and maybe you haven't used it in a while, now's a good time to pick her back up and start hydrating her, even on a daily basis, just a real quick, simply even rinsing under the faucet as a way you can do it, just to be able to get it done. Other things you can do throughout the week, writing Shreem Brzee. Even if you're just writing it 3 times, 5 times, 9 times, 27, 108, write Shreem Brzee, write your goals. Another thing you can do is just chanting all the time. I'm going to repeat myself, and I do this because these are the basics that I want you to be able to master. The more you're chanting Shreem Brzee, the more you're going to be able to tune into the frequencies of the goddess, and then that becomes part of who you are. That becomes your frequency. The more you say it, the more you think it, that becomes your vibration. Okay, and in one of the beautiful meditations Dr. Plank gives, he says, you are Shreem Brzee, I am Shreem Brzee, you are Shreem Brzee, like that you are becoming Shreem Brzee. And that's the idea of chanting the mantra, gaining the consciousness of the sound so that you have that vibration, and then you can have the consciousness. And in that consciousness is where you'll be able to manifest. You'll be able to flourish inwardly and outwardly. Your happiness, your health, your material comforts and prosperity, all those things are possible through incorporating the consciousness of Shreem Brzee into your life. And how do you do that? Use the mantra, chant the mantra, write the mantra. Last week I talked a bit about the power of prayer, and Dr. Ply kept saying recently, prayer is power, and to be praying constantly. So another reminder to be praying constantly. What does your day look like? You wake up in the morning, what is the first thought you have? Let your first thought be, I'm grateful for another day of this life, and let me talk to the goddess. Let me chant Shreem Brzee. Let me pray to whomever you like to pray to in that moment and ask, dear whoever you're talking to, dear Shreem Brzee, let me remember you every hour. Let me remember you every minute. Let me remember to speak to you and speak back to me. Because when you're building this relationship with Shreem Brzee, with the goddess, with whomever, it's a relationship like any other relationship. You need to speak, you need to communicate, right? You need to bring them into your life. If you don't call a friend for 10 years, if it's a really good friend, you could probably still pick up the phone. But if you did talk to that person every day for 10 years, you have a closer relationship, right? Same thing with Shreem Brzee. You have a closer relationship when you're talking to her every day, when you're chanting the mantra every day, when you're writing the mantra, when you're engaging in it with her, with the sound. That's when you're able to have that relationship, have communication. Then it becomes a two-way communication. Maybe you get signs, maybe you have feelings, more intuition, your intuition is deepening on what actions to take or not take, which are beneficial for you, right? All about increasing your prosperity. Sometimes we make bad decisions. Maybe we did so because we weren't so tuned in with our divinity. So last week I talked a bit about karma busting, and thank you, Freya, for bringing up the mentioning of the pumpkin, which is also I wanted to mention because I have a little pumpkin here today. Now, this one's more of a gourd, but you can still use these as well, or you can have the bigger pumpkins. But these, since it's pumpkin season in the US and perhaps other places, this is a great time to be breaking pumpkins for smashing your karma. And we talked more about karma last week, so I won't get into that, but just another reminder, use your pumpkins and break your karma. And how karma is related to Shreem Brzee is that the more you remove the thoughts that don't serve you, those things, that habits, the ideas, the beliefs holding you back, when you're getting rid of those, you have an open space for being able to manifest what you want. And Shreem Brzee can help you manifest what you want. That's that vibration we were talking about. So that's what I wanted to talk about today. Are there any questions? I'll take those now. It's pretty chill power time week for Shreem Brzee. It happens like we typically have like a group of them all together, and then we just kind of have a little lull for a week, and then they come back. So the other thing I want to tell you about, which is very exciting to me, is that we are partnering with Yeti to create these really cool tumblers. So Yeti is a great brand and really high quality, and now we're making them in this beautiful sandstone pink with the Shreem Brzee logo. So they will be coming out soon. I'm really excited about that. So another way to keep reminders, and we did talk about this recently too, is how to keep Shreem Brzee in your mind all the time. Have reminders, place things around you so you remember them. And using one of these is a way to do that. Like if you're drinking, I drink my tea out of this all day long, right? So every time I see it, I'm like, Shreem Brzee, right? Every time you know, wearing a jewelry or mala, I broke my mala, but when I had them, I would always hold it and touch it. And a reminder, just reminding you to be in Shreem Brzee, to be in Shreem Brzee mantra, to be in Shreem Brzee prayer, to be in Shreem Brzee meditation, to be in Shreem Brzee rituals. All of those things lead to your consciousness being enhanced by Shreem Brzee. Can chanting Shreem Brzee cause relationships to end? I could think of two reasons why that might happen. One, it wasn't a good relationship for you, and Shreem Brzee is protecting you and wanting to give you something better, right? Or two, and this kind of goes along with number one, that person wasn't fitting inside of the vibration of Shreem Brzee. So maybe that person's not necessarily a bad person, not necessarily bad for you, but if you're really energetically vibrating with Shreem Brzee and you want to be, and that's your goal and that's what you want to be doing, some people don't fit into that vibration. And it doesn't mean anything bad has to happen, like a fallout or anything, just maybe they just generally fall away. They just kind of go away because they're not fitting inside of your vibrational field any longer. Okay? So two things, and they're pretty similar. One is that person wasn't good for you, and Shreem Brzee is actively protecting you and keeping you surrounded in her light. And then number two, that person isn't good or bad for you. It's just that that person didn't fit inside of the vibration and kind of fell away. Does that make sense? Yeah, good. Do you keep a separate knife for cutting lemons? I do. That's a good question, because I've seen people like cut it and then put it, clean it and put it away. And I don't do that. I like to keep my karma busting stuff separate than my cooking stuff. And I recommend you do it because even if you put it in the dishwasher, it's still, it's still associated. So I actually keep a cutting board and a knife in my bathroom. And because it's just easier for me to remember when I'm doing it. You can also keep a cutting board and knife separately in your kitchen. Sometimes, in fact, one of Dr. Ply's homes, he would keep it out on the counter. So there would be a cutting block and lime and a knife, and you just go over and cut and throw it in the garbage. It's right near the garbage. And I was like, oh, this is beautiful. It's like a station set up all the time so that you can just remember to do it and then do it throughout the day. And then you just want to make sure you wash your hands and move on. So yeah, great questions. Any other questions? I don't have too much else to tell you. This is a really cute pumpkin, and make sure you use your pumpkin power. We got Halloween coming up next week, so there's an abundance of pumpkins. There are going to be probably more even after Halloween, after people are trying to get rid of them for cheap. So load up on the discounted pumpkins, and then they stay good for a while. So that's what I do. Just go and buy a whole bunch of them, and then you can just break them, every week, every few days, every day, depending on your budget or whatever you're looking to do. And particularly on those 13th moons, which we're not going to get to till next week anyway. So works out perfectly. You can stock up on your post-Halloween pumpkin stash and then break some on the 13th moon. All right. Another question we get often is how to keep Shreem Brzee, how to manifest with Shreem Brzee when you're continually thinking other things, right? And so basically the bottom line is people are always saying, how do I manifest with Shreem Brzee? How do I manifest with Shreem Brzee? And there's a few steps to that. And one is you want to remove the concepts, the limiting beliefs, the negativity that's in your mind or even unconsciously that is there. And so that's what we do through karma removal techniques. And if that's too advanced for you, you're super brand new, you simply continue to chant Shreem Brzee or specifically Brzee, and you do so at the throat. So step one, getting rid of what we call karma or limiting beliefs, thoughts, etc., mindset that are holding back Shreem Brzee at the throat. Shreem Brzee or just Brzee. Shreem Brzee or Brzee at the throat. That's step one, kind of clearing away. And then manifesting. Focusing in on what it is you want to create. Focus in. Dr. Ply says, clarity is creation. You create through your clarity. Getting clear on what it is you want. Now, if you don't know what you want and you're not clear, just keep chanting Shreem Brzee, because guess what? The Laksmi means focus, direction. She will give that to you. So if you're not sure what you want, then keep chanting Shreem Brzee or calling upon Laksmi, and she'll help hone it in for you. And if you do know what you want, visualize in extreme detail, and more importantly, feeling the emotion of creating what you want. Oh my gosh, I want this new job. What does it look like? What does it feel like? Who's there? What am I doing? How much am I getting paid? What does it feel like getting up and going to work in the morning? Are you working from home? Are you working in an office? Be specific. What kind of boss do you have? Are you the boss, right? How much money are you making? What perks do you get, right? Get really clear and emotionalize that experience. Like, oh my gosh, I feel so empowered now with this new position. I feel respected. I feel prosperous. I feel excited and valued, and like I have purpose, whatever that is for you. So you want to get really clear on the emotions that surround or that are involved with the situation of your experience of that manifestation of that job. You know, I'm just giving that as an example. Okay. Could be the same with maybe you're adopting a child. I literally had someone who chanting Shreem Brzee adopted a child. That's what she wanted. It was a really, really beautiful experience. Maybe you want a vacation. Maybe you want a new home. Maybe you want a car. Maybe you want a better relationship with your mother. Maybe like whatever, or maybe you want better health. Whatever it is, Shreem Brzee can give you that 200% life. 200%, 100% spiritual and 100% material. And she does so, the mantra, the goddess does so through the vibration of absolute prosperity. And Dr. Ply says, we are innately abundant. And what Shreem Brzee is doing is activating that abundance in us. We are innately abundant. And Shreem Brzee is activating that abundance within us. Let that sink in, right? So that's why you're chanting it, because you're activating who you really are, which is a totally abundant being, so that that abundance can come forth into your life. And what stops that from coming forth? Our little mind chatter, our limited mindsets, what we think we can and cannot have, what we perceived and people told us in this lifetime, what we could and couldn't do, right? All those limiting things in our rational mind and our frontal lobe, creating logic, creating time, creating obstacles. That's all stopping you from just literally experiencing who you really are, which is an abundant, amazing, divine being. And Shreem Brzee is like, hey, you're an abundant, divine, amazing being. Chant me more, right? And then you chant and you're like, oh, maybe that's true. And as you go down this path and you're chanting more and chanting more and chanting more, hopefully you're expanding. Your light is expanding. Your opportunities are expanding. Your optimism is expanding. Your faith is expanding. That's what Shreem Brzee can do for you. All of those things, because it's who you are. So you're really just saying, you're just like waking yourself up. Shreem Brzee is about waking you up so that you can see who you are and experience who you are in that true, total, fundamental abundance. And what we have to do is give the mantra the opportunity to do that by engaging with it. But our monkey mind wants us to do other things, like watch television or chat with people or look on Instagram, right? But we have to, that's where discipline comes in. Discipline comes in with, no, I'm going to give Shreem Brzee this opportunity to totally activate my true abundant nature. So I'm going to just sit for these 5 minutes and chant it without interruption. Or I'm just going to continue on my way doing my daily activities and chanting it while I'm doing that. Or I'm going to put it on in the background so it's constantly playing and bombarding my consciousness and I always hear it. Play Shreem Brzee in the background all the time. Or I'm going to doodle it while I'm in a meeting, right? Or talking to someone on the phone. You incorporate it into your life as a lifestyle. It doesn't happen overnight, and it doesn't happen because you chanted Shreem Brzee 108 times once. That will not help you. You have to incorporate it into your lifestyle. So that's what's important about making sure you're asking Shreem Brzee to be part of your life every single day. So So I hope that helps. Like, that's how you manifest with Shreem Brzee. Did I miss any questions? Heard if you have eaten meat, you can't touch the statue. Not true. Not true. Dr. Ply has eaten meat and he touches his statues. So if you're on your cycle and you're a woman, you shouldn't touch the statues. But other than that, you're free to do it. And if you're on your cycle, you definitely can chant and meditate. So there's no limitations there. There's a question up here, how to attract more money. So hopefully I answered that in my little spiel here about how to use Shreem Brzee. And so the money part, like maybe you want just straight up cash, right? Like you just want money. And so either you want money / finances, or you want good health, you want better relationships, or you want a car, you want a new job, whatever that thing is. That is what you focus on, get clear on what is it that you want, and then you emotionalize it. So what does it feel like to have X number of dollars in your bank account? What does it feel like to have a disease gone from you? What does it feel like to have a better relationship with your parents or your children or your spouse, right? Whatever that is, it's the same process I just went through. The process is get clear on what you want, remove the limiting beliefs preventing you from thinking you can have it, have faith that it's possible, 100% faith that it's possible, 100% faith that it's possible. You can't have any doubt that it's not possible. Or else it won't happen. If you're thinking about, I want $100,000, but really inside you're like, I don't think I'll ever have $100,000 or $1 million or $5 million or 10 or a billion, whatever your number is, it's not going to happen. So you start with something you're 100% clear that you can attain it. You have full faith. You have full faith. And it doesn't mean you won't get to your 10 million or your billion or whatever your number is. It just means right now I can conceive of 10,000, 20,000, 50,000, 100,000, 500,000, whatever your number is that you can fully conceive, $1 million. Then you focus on that first. But if you're like, I want $1 trillion, dollars, and you can't even conceive of $1 trillion, then it's not the right manifestation for you. Okay, so you have to pick what your right manifestation is. Your right manifestation is the one you can conceive of and not have any doubt about. Your right manifestation is the one you can conceive of and not have any doubt. That's full faith. Dr. Ply defines faith as utter positivity. So this is why you don't waste your time, right? Don't waste your time trying to manifest something you don't fully believe is possible for you. It doesn't mean you won't get there someday. You will. It's just baby steps. You first manifest the one that you're 100% sure that's what's that you can do. And then once that's done, you're like, cool, now I can go to the next step, right? You got your $100,000, let's say, you got your new job that's, maybe you're the manager, and then the next level, you're the senior manager and you're the director and you're the VP and you're whatever, right? Like, so just start with the phases that are possible and you just can feel it in your bones that yes, this is happening, no doubt. Because if you try to jump in to, let's say, I'm the VP, right? And you're not even a manager yet, you might not, and you don't have full faith that it's possible, it's probably not going to happen. I mean, it's most likely not going to happen. It's most definitely not going to happen if you don't have faith. So that's why I'm saying you take these baby steps. But if you're saying maybe you're just an employee and now you want to be a manager, then yes, that step, and as long as it's full faith within you, then that possibility of manifesting will be able to happen. Same thing with any amount of money. So this, where I kind of went on this tangent of how to manifest, is someone asked, how do I make more money? And my response is, make sure whatever your manifestation is that 100% in your bones that this is possible for you and that you can see it and you can feel it, and then use Shreem Brzee to enhance that process. Can we order products from Ply Center yet? Unfortunately, and it breaks my heart to say so, no. Because of the shipments in India, they've been really backed up. However, over the next month or two, we are going to be having products moved to the US, and then you'll be able to order them there. So I will let you know. Trust me, I will let you know as soon as that's ready, and this lovely mug tumbler will be one of the products. Any other questions? Well, thank you all for the hearts and engagement. Really appreciate that. I think that's all for today. Unless you have other questions, be happy to answer them. The next full moon, actually the next new moon, what do you think of Shreem Brzee tattoos? Hey, it's a reminder, right? I can't give advice on what you're putting on your body or advice on tattoos in any regards, but we just talked about how to create reminders, and maybe that's a reminder for you, right? So I don't have a other opinion about it other than it's a very personal thing to get a tattoo. I've always kind of wanted one, but never knew what I would get, so no tattoos on this body just yet. But yeah, if you got tattoos and it's your thing, it'd be kind of cool. Okay, so real quick though, before I go then, and please continue to ask questions, I'm happy to stay on and answer. The next new moon is Diwali, and it's called the Festival of Lights in India. And what's interesting about this new moon is that it's actually associated with Laksmi, which normally the new moons are not associated with her. Only full moons are, but this time it is. And the tradition says that if it's a dark night, like the new moon, if you light these lamps, that Lakshmi, you're inviting Lakshmi to your home. So we'll talk a little bit more about that next week, because it's not until Wednesday, the 3rd, November 3rd. So we'll talk a little bit more about that. But Astraved and Palai Center's hosting some rituals, 3 days, I think, of Diwali. If you want to participate in some ceremonies, you can do that. It'll definitely light a lamp, and I'll get some more info, and we'll talk more about that next week. I am chanting for 3 weeks and am waiting. I have big hope, but nothing happens. Nothing happens. Okay, so 3 weeks is great. Keep doing it. And come back to me in 3 months. I feel like we often want just like an overnight success. And we have lifetimes of karma that we're working through, right? We have a mindset from this entire life that we've created. So getting started on Shreem Brzee is the first step, and continuing on it is the next, because that's what's going to make or break our breakthroughs. And it's, I'm sure you've heard this story, like, you plant the seed and you water it, and then like it takes about a certain amount of time to come and break through, but it doesn't mean it's not working. The seed is working. You planted the seed of Shreem Brzee. You're cultivating it through chanting and writing and letting it play in the background, and it hasn't quite broken out yet. That's okay. Keep doing it, and do it for the love of Shreem Brzee. Versus, oh, I just want to see this particular result. And I mentioned this, a few videos back, that sometimes we just do something in order to, right? Like in order to get this thing, then that kind of puts a little damper on that process, because you're not doing it because you just simply love it. I mean, of course, we'd like some results, right? And that's where the prayers come in. So if you haven't seen any results yet and you've been chanting Shreem Brzee, then start talking to the goddess. Like, okay, goddess, I'm doing this diligently. I really need a sign. I need something. And then not in a demanding, angry way, but more of a speaking to your mother. Mother, I've been chanting to you. Please give me something. Help me out here. I have an emergency. I need some assistance, right? So ask and ask and ask for the goddess to intervene on your behalf. And Dr. Pillai says, if you can pray and if you can cry, she can't resist even one single tear of yours. So if you're in a dire situation and you need really some big breakthrough, then literally crying to the divine, to the goddess, is a way for you to hopefully make some more faster breakthroughs and actions there. So don't be discouraged that nothing has happened in 3 weeks, but keep your optimism, keep your faith, and create that relationship with the goddess. Create that relationship with Shreem Brzee. So now you're talking to her. Okay, Shreem Brzee, we're going to chant today, we're going to meditate today, we're going to do this, we're going to write our goals, and then just see what type of communication you can conjure from her. Maybe it's a sign, maybe it's an intuition for taking action or not. Just allow her into your life. That's what we want to do. Any other questions? I appreciate you all being here. If there's any, oh, here's one. Is there any rituals to be followed before chanting Shreem Brzee? You can always make things complicated, right? But no, you don't need to do any. If you want to chant to Ganesha beforehand, Om Gam Ganapate, or just Om Gam to clear obstacles, you can do that. That's one thing you can do. But otherwise, just chant all the time. Yes, it's coming to you. It's coming to you. Don't lose faith. And you're here, right? And you had the courage to ask that question. So I appreciate that. And the goddess will bless you. Stay pure. The other thing that Dr. Pillai mentioned recently is to pray for others for what it is that we want. So if you want a new car, pray that people who need a new car more than you get a car, right? The goddess loves, the divine loves that we are compassionate and taking care of one another on earth. And we can take care of one another through prayer, praying that people have their needs met. What is the difference between Shreem Brzee and Arakara? So Arakara or Arakara is a mantra from Dr. Pillai that is about manifesting. And I don't remember he goes into great length on describing it, which we have in our course called Manifesting Miracles. And I think it's only $30 or something like that. So if you want to get that, it's called Manifesting Miracles. Go to academy.pillaicenter.com. And there's all the information you need to know about Arakara, as well as the guided meditation. It's a very comprehensive course. It's really good, actually. And that mantra preceded Shreem Brzee, came before Shreem Brzee. So that was when Dr. Pillai talked about that, using that mantra for manifestation. And it makes the impossible possible. It creates thought into matter. And it's a really powerful mantra. So every mantra has its own set of syllables, own significance, own vibration. So that's a little bit about Arakara. And then Shreem Brzee, and Shreem is the seed sound for goddess Laksmi, and bringing forth beauty and purity and prosperity. And then Brzee is the sound for removing all scarcity, removing scarcity in your consciousness and creating abundance. So if I had to give a distinction, I feel like Arakara cuts through manifestation a little deeper and has more of the impossibility. Dr. Pillai calls it the impossibility buster, right? Like if you feel something is impossible, you use Shreem Brzee, or you use Arakara, and it kind of helps manifest your thoughts. And Shreem Brzee helps manifest your thoughts in a slightly different way. It is removing your karma, and I feel like it feels more refined and a little more gentle. If I had to kind of put it in those terms. And Shreem Brzee is focused more so on the abundance nature, right? So bringing more abundance into your life. Bottom line is you can use either one of them. And really what you want to do is use whichever works best for you. Try them both And maybe you love one more than the other, right? Some people love chanting Arakara. Some people love chanting Shreem Brzee. I happen to love chanting Shreem Brzee, so I'd use that one a lot. But you can certainly use either one of them. And I would suggest that you do, to see which ones, feel good to you. Which mantra that you want to chant more of, that's the one you use, right? Because it's going to become more natural to you. All right. Well, thank you all so much for joining. It's been a pleasure to be here with you today, and I will see you again next week. We'll talk a little bit more about Diwali on next Sunday's session, and I hope you have a blessed and abundant Shreem Brzee week. We'll talk to you soon. Namaste.
Brzee.